Well, Tokes, Emmanuel Macron labelled complacency the biggest threat for the European Union right now. He used the example of Brexit as one example of taking Europe for granted. He says Europe was a successful project, a project that allowed for destroyed European nations to rebuild and to build a future of prosperity. And now, of course, that dream was threatened. That project was very much in danger, as the French president described in this editorial published in some 28 countries in 24 different languages. Emmanuel Macron says that in Brexit it has become clear that nationalist retrenchment offers nothing. It is rejection without an alternative, according to Emmanuel Macron, and that is the threat, the trap that threatens Europe right now.
So, Annalise, what concrete measures is he proposing in his roadmap to European renewal?
Well, Emmanuel Macron has very ambitious plans. He has very ambitious proposals, like pretty much everything that he does. He talks about rethinking Schengen, for example, and rethinking border controls across the bloc. He thinks that all countries should adopt the same style of border controls and that all countries should have the same force to secure external borders. He also talks about a common asylum office for the entire bloc to avoid, of course, the bickering that we all saw last year surrounding migration. Emmanuel Macron also thinks that it's time for Europe to rethink election rules. He proposes the creation of a European agency for the protection of democracies, to protect elections here in Europe against foreign intervention, against manipulation, and against intervention and cyber attacks, for example. He also talks about the need to rethink the environmental targets of the EU. He talks about zero carbon emissions by 2050, but also reducing in half the use of pesticides across the bloc. Emmanuel Macron ended this letter published in several newspapers like the Corriere della Sera, and I've got the El País as well. So Emmanuel Macron writing in several different languages this Tuesday. He called for a conference for Europe to establish what is needed in terms of targets in order to achieve what he proposes as a reinvention of Europe. He says that conference would take place by the end of this year.